All right, so we've been putting this off for over a month. But now that we're in quarantine and my glasses are a little crooked, that happened in Africa at some point. Um, we
We're ready to tell you the
the
story.
about our worst 3 days in a row in Africa. So basically, it started when we were at this beautiful place called the Mushroom Farm. We were staying there. It was at the top of a mountain in Livingstonia in
Hmm.
Malawi. And basically, we had to travel from Malawi north about 2 hours, cross the border in this place called Songwe, walk across the border to Tanzania, and then go from Tanzania to this town called Mbeya and take a train across the country to Dar es Salaam. So it didn't quite go as planned.
So it starts the morning at the mushroom farm. Keep in mind, we're at the very top of a mountain. So we get two different motorcycles, ride down the mountain. It was lovely. Then we get in a minibus packed with people. There's a bus for nine. It's supposed to
This is
fit
our
nine, but
fit nine, it fits about 20.
yeah, they overcrowd it. And so the bus is headed where?
The bus was headed from this place called Chitimba, the base of the mountain, to Karonga, and then it's supposed to take you to Songwe, which is the border. So we were very clear. We were like, we want to go all the way to Songwe. We don't want to stop in Karonga. And they said, okay, no problem. We'll just keep going through Karonga and we'll take you to Songwe to the border. Well, that didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Got to Karonga and they kicked us off the bus.
They kicked us off into
A
a
taxi
taxi.
that they just casually arranged for us.
Yeah, we don't really know how that
So,
happened.
so the taxi driver proceeded to run his own errands for about an hour in Karonga while we're just sitting there. And then he picked up one other lady and they put a box of hers in the trunk of the car.
So the trunk at this point is packed from all his errands, and so it's just our two bags, and then the box with the from the lady. So she gets in the car, and about 5 minutes later, we go over a little speed bump, and the box starts shaking.
And
And
squawking.
we see feathers coming out from it, and it ends up the box has five chickens that are tied together, getting ready to get slaughtered at the border.
So that was interesting. So there's these five chickens behind us all tied together. We're in this car. Then we're almost to the border and the taxi runs out of gas. But he didn't tell us it ran out of gas. He just casually pulled over and got out of the car and walked away. So we're just sitting in this empty car with this one lady and her chickens. And he walks back with this dude and two giant water bottles full of gasoline. And he fills up the car. And then now we're headed to the border. We walked across the border. It was very hot.
Very hectic.
No directions.
Picture a semi truck station, with semis parked on both sides of the roads and semis coming in the middle of the road, but with weaved within these semis is just a human market where they are selling apples and tomatoes and any type of weird plastic or water or food you could think of, just scattered within these semis. And just picture two Americans with their big backpacks trying to find immigration.
And then immigration was inside like an active construction zone. And we got there and we were like, we could maybe, they'll have an ATM. We read everything, said there's an ATM. That's great. So we get there and we needed cash because they didn't have a card machine. So they said the ATM's that way. When he said that way, it ended up being a half a mile away down the road into the country. So now we're in Tanzania, don't have our passport stamp, don't have a visa, looking for an ATM. It's inside of a truck. So then we go to this
on
ATM.
the in a on a side dirt road
So
inside of a truck.
find this ATM. Everyone's hounding us, asking us if we need rides. Everyone's asking for money. And we're like, oh boy. So we just got our money we needed for our visas, walked a half mile back in with our backpacks and everything. It was like 100 degrees out. And then went back to immigration. They processed our visas, got stamped. Then we were so pissed off at this point, we just walked about a mile and a half to a bus station that needed to take us to the town of Mbeya. We were catching the train the next day. Um,
we get on this bus. We think it's going to be an hour and a half drive or so, based on the little that we were told and our general research. That was also little. So we get on this bus, and it ends up being like, I mean, it's 3 hours at this point, and we're looking at each other. We don't have any service, any Wi-Fi. We can't look up where we are at all, and finally we get to this really big intersection. Like half the bus departs from it. At this point, it's dusk, which we need to find a place to sleep by nightfall, ideally. So everyone's getting off the bus, and we ask this guy in front of us, "Is this Mbeya?" And he was like,
No, didn't speak English.
he kind of was
He's
like,
like,
yeah.
It might be.
And we were like, great. So we got off, no question. Somehow found a hotel with a room and running water and food. And so at this point, we have our bags dropped down in the room. We're downstairs eating the hotel lobby area. And Suds gets on the Wi-Fi and says, let's see where we are, how close we are to the train station we need to be at. It's 40 minutes away.
And 40 minutes is like an eternity away when you're taking public transport, because everything stops and starts and stops and starts. And it was just an absolute mess. So the next day, we took three different tries at taking public transport, got on a little tuk-tuk, which is just like a little motorbike, and that he took us to an abandoned train station because it just wasn't
like
clear.
5 minutes from our start place. We're like,
no, wrong.
no.
So then we got on the wrong bus, which was my fault. And then we finally got on the right bus. We were overcharged, but it took us and dropped us off at the train station. Get to this train station, and they tell us that we can't buy train tickets because they're full. So to come back the next day, and there might be availability.
So we're talking to this train station lady for like 5 minutes or so, trying to interpret how it's full and we need to come back. And we ask if we can be put on a waiting list. So Sudsy gets a pen and paper and is writing our names down for her to put on a waiting list in case tickets do become available. And she takes the piece of paper Suds wrote on and said, Catalan, and then looks at both of us and says, is that a male or female? What? I was livid. I was so upset.
Obviously, the tickets are for us.
More upset at that than the fact that there were no tickets available. Like, I am a woman. I am a female. I'm right here. What was I doing wrong?
So, anyways, we stayed in this little hotel across the street that was so bizarre in the middle of nowhere.
Pros. Friendly staff. Good soup breakfast with bananas.
No Wi-Fi, no TV, no really anything, but
Did our
laundry in the sink, so that was good. And then the next day we went to buy our train tickets, and we were at the train station for 11 hours because we got there early to buy the tickets. She said we couldn't buy them yet, and we just sat and waited. Eventually, the train ended up leaving at like 11 o'clock at night when it was scheduled to leave at 2 p.m. And they locked us inside the train station. It smelled horrible.
It smelled horrible.
And
Public bathrooms are always, you never really know what you're getting. This one was definitely on the lower end of the
someone
public
opened the bathroom door, it was like the entire giant room smelled, and there was just so many people stuck in there waiting for the train. And then eventually we got on the train, and
there was popcorn.
Yeah,
they were selling popcorn around the train station.
Yeah. So
Positives of getting stuck in a train station 11 hours: popcorn and Swahili lessons.
Yeah, we made up our own little Swahili lessons, which was good. And I even, like, coming home when we were coming back, I almost said like asante, which is thank you in Swahili to people.
You did say samahani.
I did say samahani to some person, which is like sorry or excuse me if you're like moving past them. And in JFK Airport, I was like samahani, and I was like, oh my gosh, snap out of it. So anyways, here is the rest of our time in Tanzania, and hope you enjoy.
wish somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of these good old days.
I was thinking about the band, I was thinking about the fans. We were underground, loading merch in that 12-passenger van, in a small club in Minnesota, and the snow outside of First Ave. I just wanted my name and a star. Now look at where we at, still growing up, still growing up. I would lay in my bed and dream about what I'd become. Couldn't wait to get older, couldn't wait to be some. Now that I'm here, wishing I was still young. Those good old days.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe, that some
Math
days
homework?
would be the good old days.
What's in it?
All the love you won't
Some meat.
forget, and all these
Tell me.
nights you won't regret. 'Cause someday soon your whole life's gonna
How is it?
change. You'll miss the magic of the good old days.
Wish I didn't think I had the answers. Wish I didn't drink all of that glass first. Wish I made it to homecoming, got up the courage to ask her. Wish I would've gotten out of my shell. Wish I put the bottle back on that shelf. Wish I wouldn't have worried about what other people thought and felt comfortable with myself. Rooftop open, and the stars above. Moment frozen, sneaking out and falling in love. Me, you, and that futon, we just begun. On the grass dreaming, figuring out who I was. Those good old days.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these would be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. 'Cause someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of the good old days.
Never thought we'd get old. Maybe we're still young. Maybe you always look back and think it was better than it was. Maybe these are the moments. Maybe I've been missing what it's about. Been scared of the future, thinking about the past while missing out on now. We've come so far, I guess I'm proud. And I ain't worried about the wrinkles around my smile. I got some scars, I've been around. I felt some pain, I've seen some things, but I'm here now. Those good old days.
You don't know what you got till it goes, till it's gone. You don't know what you got till it goes, till it's gone. I wish somebody would've told me, babe, someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Someday soon your whole life's gonna change.